Con. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, Bashim Marakakwadash. Double honors to the apostle, elders of the great millstone, and salutes honor to brothers out there preaching his word, sharing truth. All right, I was surfing a Zero Edge website and found this article. I want to do a little lesson on it. It's entitled, What Comes After the Fed Pivot? All right. The Federal Reserve is a private entity that was created in 1913, and it was created by the elite bankers. All right, top elite banking family is Rothschilds. Okay, J.P. Morgans and Bilderbergs and all of that. But Rothschilds are the top elite banking family on the planet Earth, and they basically rule the planet Earth. All right, lock, stock, and barrel. But yeah, they created a Federal Reserve banking system, and the American dollar that you're spending now it's a Federal Reserve note. All right, it's not the fiat currency is not backed by gold and silver, which gold and silver is how you're supposed to buy and sell. All right, according to the Holy Bible. All right, gold and silver is basically money. All right, that's real money according to the Bible. But Esau, Edom being the devil that they are, they created a private entity known as the Federal Reserve, and all they do is just print fiat currency without silver or gold backing it. So therefore, it's just the people of the earth just believe in the money, in the fiat currency. All right, and once that belief is taken away from them, and they stop believing in it, that's when you get inflation rolling up to a hyperinflation. So we're in a high inflation period right now, and it's going to lead into hyperinflation. So let me read, grab some points from this article, and I'm going to jump to the scriptures. All right. Said, what comes after the Fed pivot? Founder of dollarcollapse.com, John Rubino, theorizes as to what the world will look like beyond the highly anticipated Fed pivot. I guess it's a video. Let's see if it.
Well, this is the box. We've borrowed so much money that we have to keep interest rates low to make that debt manageable. But by keeping interest rates extremely low, we, in effect, have to create a lot of new currency to make that possible. In other words, to buy the bonds that we're trying to force down in price, or whose yield we're trying to force down.
In the bond market is where the fireworks is going to be at. All right. You have these other countries like China, Russia. They also have U.S. bonds. And once they start dumping the bonds, when you look at the bond market, when they're buying bonds, you'll see red. All right, it'd be red if they're buying into bonds. When it's green, they're not buying bonds. All right, so once you see green, and it's, they're not buying in. So once that bond market start basically inclining, as you could say, you're gonna see green. And once the Fed basically lose control of that, it's game over. That's when you're gonna have your fireworks. Bank's gonna go down. All right. A whole lot of things gonna go down, man. The internet might go down, you know. But let's continue watching.
And that leads to inflation, which forces interest rates up because nobody wants to lend money if they're going to be paid back in a depreciating currency. So the interest rates people demand for loans go up in an inflationary environment, and that makes it impossible to manage that debt load. And that's kind of where we are right now. We have to raise interest rates because inflation is becoming problem number one.
Yeah, with the interest rates low like that, low like it is right now, it's gonna the currency is constantly gonna lose its value. Therefore, it's gonna be inflated. They need to do is increase the interest rates to double digits to slow down inflation. But they're not going to do that because the elites of their society wants to destroy the purchasing power of the dollar. They want to get rid of paper money. Therefore, they want to go to a all digital based system. Yeah, all on the internet. You know, they want no cash to be held or spent. You know.
But by doing that,
And it is all going, you know, at the end of the road is all going to the MO to the TB system. Okay, and read about that in Revelation 13 and 16. Okay,
we're raising our debt costs to the point at which the system doesn't work anymore. You know, we'll go bankrupt trying to pay off the debts that we have at higher interest rates. And there doesn't seem to be a solution for that.
well, the American dollar is a debt note, so can't pay debt with debt. You know?
Welcome to Wealthion. I'm Wealthion. Morning, as we're talking here, Gazprom basically just told Germany, no more gas for you.
If it's imposed on us by the markets, it'll be chaos. And if it's imposed on us by the government making the decision to do it, so say some Sunday night, they just announced that we're back on the gold standard Monday morning at much higher prices, then that hurts all the people.
And what the elites are doing, they're basically keeping the price down of gold and silver, which is real money. You know, and they know it's real money. That's why they're keeping the price low. By them keeping the price low, they basically buy. They paper over the gold and silver. That's why you got the SLV and GOD paper gold and silver. So they just buy millions and billions of those paper contracts. Therefore, that's how they keep the price low. All right. But once that whole paper system goes kaput, that's when gold and silver is really going to shine. Actually, I haven't watched this video, so I don't know where the good points that this guy is talking about. But if you want to watch it, you can just type in that title right there in YouTube and watch it. But anyway, they said once the Feds pivot, so basically, once the Fed, because the Fed is, they basically just want to hyperinflate the dollar to zero. That's their plan, okay? And the Rothschilds are the owners of the Federal Reserve, so they're just doing what the Rothschilds tell them to do. All right, so they're basically going to print the dollar into dust. And a lot of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, trust in this American dollar, so-called white man system. Okay. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe, his destruction, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? That's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Everywhere he goes, he brings death and destruction. And he's covetous. All right, he wants what he can't have. Therefore, no, if he sees something and he wants it, he's going to take it by force. All right, even though it belongs to somebody else, he's covetous. He have a covetous nature. What was that, Micah? Was that Micah 2? 2:1? 2:1 and 2:2. And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now that thick clay goes into the Hebrew word abatyat, which means heavy debt. All right, an American dollar is a heavy debt, is a debt note, because nothing's backing it. Real money is not backing it. Gold and silver is not backing it. Therefore, it doesn't mean nothing. It's a debt note. So all this trillions and trillions of dollars, the Federal Reserve is printing. That's going to have a blowback, which is inflation going into hyperinflation. All right. And the majority of our people don't even understand about the money system. All right. They don't understand that gold and silver is real money. All right. They all believe in the dollar bill. Okay. Which, when the dollar bill first started off, they started making the dollar bill back in the 1800s. It was backed by gold and silver, because the dollar is basically a measuring tool. Okay, and it was backed by a silver piece. You might have $100 backed by a gold piece of a gold coin or whatever. But now it's just totally wicked. There's nothing backing it. Ezekiel 7:15. Now, I like to read this in the NLT. I'm reading NLT from my phone. Ezekiel 7:15. The sword is with This is in the NLT. There is a war outside the city, and disease and famine within. Now, aren't we in a so-called pandemic? They just came out with another variant. What was it? B to the A to the 5th. Yeah. Wow. Famine with the food shortages. That's going to get worse and worse. The scriptures are saying this is prophecy. There is a war outside the city and famine within. Those outside the city walls will be killed by enemy swords. Those inside the city will die of famine and disease. The survivors who escape the mountains will moan like doves weeping for their sins. Okay. Their hands will hang limp, their knees will be weak as water. They will dress themselves in burlap. Horror and shame will cover them. They will shave their heads in sorrow and remorse. And that's verse 18, right? So this is going to be the state of the world. All right? Coming soon. They will throw, this is verse 19, right? They will throw their money in the streets. They will throw that paper fiat currency dollar bill, American dollar bill. They're going to throw that shit in the streets. And that's what happened in Venezuela, Zimbabwe, other countries that face hyperinflation. They're going to throw that shit in the streets. Throw their money in the streets. So-called money. Fiat currency. Tossing it out like worthless trash. Their silver and gold won't save them on that day of the Lord's anger. It will neither satisfy nor feed them. All right? For their greed can only trip them up. That's it. Okay. So, because a lot of our people in that believe in the so-called white man system, their dollar system, fiat currency system, and they're gonna be caught out there, man. If you read Isaiah 65, 13 and on down, the elect, the men of the Lord, they're gonna eat. All right, the Lord gonna feed us, the hopeful elect, the Lord will. You know, that's what the scriptures say. So we're gonna actually, let me get it real quick. I'm gonna close out 65. Gotta head out in a minute. Isaiah 65 and 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called you did not answer. And the prophets are out there on the highways and byways calling the elect. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and choose that wherein I delighted not. Our people were laden with sin. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for the Lord Yahweh shall slay thee, and call his servant by another name. All right, so the Lord's going to take care of his servants, man. All right, and he's going to kill 2/3 of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. We just read Ezekiel 7, by disease, famine, or by the sword. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I got, Shalom.